Hi, my name is Nyaradzo Chauruva of My Money Project. And this year, as we begin 2025, the whole idea is to take us through what financial freedom is all about. I know we've been talking a lot about money, but now we will just put it all together, sum it all up into financial freedom, how one can attain financial freedom in this life. Sometimes life can be burdensome because of money issues. Sometimes you would know you actually have enough money, but that money may feel like it's too little to do what we want to do. Sometimes you end up borrowing so that you meet the needs of the following month or you meet the needs of your family. But as we go through the year, this year, we want to talk more about financial freedom. How can you move from the payday to payday living to working with what you have, managing your own finances? As I start this one, I just want to differentiate between two words that are normally used interchangeably or sometimes even confused rather. So we have financial freedom and we have financial independence. Financial freedom for me is when you can afford the life that you want without heavily relying on others or having to borrow from the bank or from any other borrowing sources. However, financial independence sounds to me more like a figure, because when we hear of it, it's like when I attain such an amount, when I reach such an amount, then I can even stop working and retire early. I think some of us have heard of the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. But I'm not going to be talking much about that. I just want us to attain financial freedom. And financial freedom can be identified by 5 key points that I'm going to take you through today. And the first one being debt-free living. Being free from the burden of debt. Because when you have debt with you, or when you are in a debt cycle, it is very difficult to even say I have attained financial freedom. Why? Because every resource you get, every financial resource you get is going to be channeled towards paying off debt. So debt on its own can be a burden and can be a hindrance to you attaining financial freedom. We also talk about having sufficient savings, and I've often referred to that as an emergency fund. You want to make sure that you have savings that are stashed for that emergency when it happens. And we are talking of having probably 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. And take note, I am saying your living expenses. You know better how much your living expenses are. And probably that would look like your needs, your housing, your food, groceries for the month. So you want to have times 3 of that stashed away. Very important for you to actually then say, I have attained financial freedom. We can talk of also having a steady income that will come, not only your salary, but we also talk of passive income. And passive income is that money which you get while you are even sleeping. And this can be dividends. Probably you will have some stocks or shares in a company, and you'll be getting dividends every now and then. We call that passive income. Or maybe you have a rental property somewhere and every month rental income is coming to you. We'll consider that to be passive income. I personally also write books and sell books. So I write the book once, but it continues to sell itself, and we can talk of royalty income. I will not dwell much on that, but as we go throughout the year, I will be unpacking how we can talk of more income. And also talking of wise spending. When you are now able to spend wisely, you can know that financial freedom is with you. So sometimes we get derailed. When you get money, there is what we call lifestyle inflation. The more money you get, the more expenses you incur. But we want to talk wise spending, because when you have financial freedom, even if you get $1 million today, you know what you really need and you know what you don't need. So very important that we spend wisely. And lastly, just having financial goals is very important as you attain financial freedom. To know that, okay, in the coming 2 years, I need to travel to such a place and I want to start saving so much money towards that trip. Or maybe you want to buy a house. In 5 years time, I want to already start putting savings aside so that in 5 years time I can start building my house, or I can start or maybe put a down payment to a house. This is if you want to get a mortgage, or you just now put aside money so that at that time you can afford to buy yourself a house. So very important that you have goals in place as you attain financial freedom. And I'll repeat the 5 points again. So I spoke of debt-free living, very important. These are things that we need, as we attain financial freedom. And we talk of sufficient savings, having sufficient savings, which I talked as emergency fund, 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses stashed away. We also talked of having a steady income stream apart from your salary. Of course, the salary is important because it helps to set you up to your financial freedom. We also talked of spending wisely, and this can also come through budgeting wisely, making sure that whatever amount you have, you protect yourself from lifestyle inflation. So very important. And lastly, we spoke of having financial goals that you are preparing for in the future. One thing for sure that we may struggle with is instant gratification. So you want, the moment I see a car, I want it today. But how about you delay? That is what we call delayed gratification. Instead of you buying the vehicle today, how about you wait 3 years and then you can buy it cash, instead of having to go through all the paperwork, just to borrow money and pay off a vehicle over 5 years. By the time you've paid it off, it's probably not as new as it was. So very important that we have goals. So financial freedom, again, is not a one-size-fits-all. It means different things to different people. For me personally, financial freedom is when I am debt-free and content with what I have. Just being able to say, I am grateful for what I have. This is enough for me. Just the ability to say, these 10 dresses are sufficient for me. Or to just say, this one vehicle that I have is sufficient for me. What does financial freedom look like to you?